14 years ago now, getting ready to pass our 15-year anniversary. We went down range. My battle buddy and I were injured in Iraq, come back, and going through the reintegration process, 2-3 years of it. A really great struggle. I'm a contractor, general contractor by trade. Went to go to work, coming home, thought, well, I can just go right back to work, and really found the struggles, not so much in my ability to be able to work or even my ability to be able to focus, but my ability to be able to interact with other people. The culture and the values were so different. I think one of the key components to an organization is to be able to tell stories. No matter who you are, you got to be able to connect with those you're either trying to serve, or you have to be able to connect with those who you're selling to. And we connect through stories, and I think that's an important note that you need to make. When you're looking for investors for your businesses, you got to be able to tell a story. When you're looking to find volunteers for your nonprofits, you got to be able to tell a story. I get the opportunity to go speak to a lot of different groups, and mostly they're not veterans. So this is somewhat unique for me, and I want you to know some of the things that I tell civilians. First of all, I have this analogy that I use to help civilians understand what it's like to go to war, because as many of you have probably experienced, you can tell them, but they look at you like a deer in the headlights, like, I don't understand. They just don't get it. And I remember as we were deploying, getting ready to go into Iraq in '04, we had one of the generals gave his big war speech, and he said, "Men, no offense, ladies," he just simply said, "Men, war is 90% boredom and 10% hell." And I found that to be true, but at the time I didn't understand. And I think the struggle is for the civilian population to understand, and they don't understand what that's like. And so here's how I tell them. Life in society is like a great big puzzle. If I take my puzzle piece, which is unique to me, and our business is a unique puzzle piece, and our schools, they're all unique, and they all look a little different, shape, color, size, purpose. And in the process, if I take my piece and I drop it into scalding hot coffee, will my puzzle piece ever fit back into the puzzle the same? It's going to be swollen, distorted, different color. It'll probably never find its original shape again. And that's how we are as veterans. Once you've experienced war, it's like getting dropped into scalding hot coffee. It changes who you are. It makes you a little different. And society has to make room. It's not just about us changing, because we've already changed. But I think it's about understanding each other too. And so I share with civilians, if you were to get $100,000. If I give you $100,000 today and ask you to go make an investment, you would want a return on that investment, and you would expect back $105,000 or more, right? Well, likewise, I, as a citizen of the United States, I want a return on my investment. And my tax dollars paid for your education. I want that education and the values that you learned in the military and how they brought you up, no matter what branch that is, I want those back in my community. Because your ability to focus on a mission and understand a mission is different than a civilian. Your resiliency is different than those who have not had training. Your grit and determination is different than those who have not had military training. And with that, it brings great value back to our communities, whether it's in the school systems, whether it's in making new products, whether it's in starting new businesses, or whether it's in social causes like Purple Heart Homes. Your perspective and your vision and your values are a contributor back to our society as an investment from your training. And so I'm really proud and honored to be here, and Bob just really hit the nail on the head. We need more veterans in our businesses. We need to support entrepreneurship, and we need to do that, in a multi-pronged approach. And so I really do appreciate the opportunity. I strongly encourage a good business plan. A lot of people have a very difficult time thinking about strategic planning. And let me just simplify it for you. A strategic plan is necessary. I strongly encourage you to do that. It's nothing more than predetermined thought based on research and areas that you think you can gain ground over somebody else. And so we spent really the first 2 years working on our business plan, our strategic planning, getting all our licensure set up, getting our program outline set up. As Bob mentioned, a lot of organizations have had a problem with vetting of their veterans. We do nationwide background checks, we do tax record checks. I mean, we really get in depth, and it's an upfront investment before we're going to go give money to that veteran. But I'm proud to say we've given away nearly $12.5 million directly to veterans and to veterans' houses. We'll complete our 400th project here in the next month. We have currently 11 chapters, which is, I heard many of you all mention interest in franchising. Essentially, a chapter is a franchise model. It's called a brand affiliation agreement for the nonprofit sector. So if somebody wants to open up a McDonald's, they go make an application to get a franchise license agreement. If somebody wants to open up a Purple Heart Homes, they make an application for a chapter agreement. And with that, we give them our brand, our processes, support, link them up with some of our fundraisers. They're tied to a specific geographical area. And as Bob said, we help all generations of veterans, whether they are World War II, Korea, and actually doesn't matter if you served in Mogadishu, Bosnia, Kosovo, stateside at Fort Bragg, and you were injured during training. You don't have to have a Purple Heart. It's called Purple Heart Homes because we had Purple Hearts, and it just kind of fell into place. But the truth of the matter is that, you know, a good solid business plan with some grit and determination, continuous mission focus. I think one of the derailments of many of the other charities, and we get this all the time, and we've got 20 full-time staff at our office, and they all know the first thing I'm going to ask is it in focus with our mission? Is it supporting safe, accessible housing for service-connected disabled veterans of all eras? Somebody calls and asks us to buy them a computer, we got to say it's a 2-letter word. Who knows it? Somebody calls Purple Heart Homes and asks for a computer, we say, all right, let's hear you, because you got to learn to say if you're going to be business leaders. No. It's hard. It's hard to say no to people, because you know what? I'd give y'all every dime I got. Matter of fact, I got a book up here for you because I like you all so much, and you didn't even ask. Right? You didn't even ask. And so when you got a good heart and you want to help people, and people call and they want you to do something that you're not set up and focused and it's not your mission and purpose to do, you've got to be able to say that word. And it's really tough. It's really tough. But I'll say that we found that networking and partnerships really make a difference. Be willing to be collaborative. Surround yourselves with good people. And you know, it's not just about smart people. Don't look for the smartest. It's not just about those who have been successful in the past. It's about your culture of you and your organization. Can you help, and I know you all know this being in the military, can you help set other people up to be successful? And if you can do that and you can build that core and you have mission focus, you have the visions and the values all in place, the work becomes easy. Because when you help somebody and you tell the story and you're doing it for the right reason, as a charity at least, and maybe for a for-profit business it can be a little more challenging to be able to elevate your brand and brand awareness and value. There's 1.6 million charities in America right now. It's a phenomenal space, but you know what? There's so many needs out there that are not being filled. If you want to get into charity work, yes, it needs to be passion driven, but I would look to fill a gap. As Bob said, there was about 25 charities that were helping veteran housing when we started Purple Heart Homes in 2008. We just finished celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And I think one of the things that has made us different and has helped us be successful is that we identified a gap. And the gap was that Vietnam veterans were not being served. And in 2010, we didn't know this then, but in 2010, Vietnam cost Americans more arms and legs than Iraq and Afghanistan combined. Now, that was an atrocity. To me, learning that, it was just like so overwhelming that as a society, we're missing the opportunity again. We're going to get it wrong again because they're crawling to their bathrooms. We can do something about that. It might not be as nice looking on CNN as helping the Iraq veteran that's in a wheelchair get a whole house. We're only giving away $30,000. They're giving away $300,000. But I'm making an impact on somebody's life emotionally. It's so much different. It's so much different. When you go to somebody that's never been welcomed home and you say, thank you for your service, welcome home. I want to do something for you. I want to serve you. And so find that gap. Find that passion. Develop that mission. Stay true to your values. Develop a strong business culture. Surround yourself with good, passionate people. And do what you already know how to do, and that's lead. There's one in particular, Chuck Schwanek. He is retired 2-star. He led the invasion with the 82nd in Iraq in '03. He lives in our community. General Dempsey's not far from us. Have a number of them that we work with. But let me tell you, you don't want them on your board because they have such a strong thought process and focus that they're going to lead. And you're, as entrepreneurs, not going to have the opportunity to lead. You're going to be doing their work for them based on your idea. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory towards any general officer, but I do believe that it does happen in a change once they put a star on their collar. A lot of colonels and lieutenant colonels that are phenomenal. We've got 2 that work for us now that do a phenomenal job. I've had a number of colonels on our board. Our first sergeant major joined our board about 3 years ago, has done an excellent job. I believe that the generals are there to be spokespersons, and to help network. When they go ask a business for support, that business is more apt to support me if it's a cold call because of the star on their collar. But that doesn't mean that they need to be on our board to be able to do that. So be careful in selecting who you might put on your board if you do choose to be a nonprofit. And I do know some for-profit companies, it's a lot easier to control a general when you're writing them a check. And if you're on a for-profit board, they listen to who writes their check. Nonprofit board, they're the boss, and they don't get a check, and they ain't got to listen to you. You know, everybody understand the difference? And so I do think that's really important. Again, that piece of starting off small, controllable, always setting yourself up for success. Don't take on more than you can assure yourself that you can be successful with. A lot of people want to go out and they want to build a house first. We go out and we build a ramp first, right? They might need a bathroom remodel on that house. We'll get to that later. We're going to commit to the ramp and what we can do that we can be successful at. And so that's something I think is really important. And as a whole, I think passion is about 90% of what you really got to have, because there's going to be days you're going to think, I don't have money, I don't have energy, I don't have help, I don't have a roof to help house all of this. And you're going to go through all these doubts, but you really have to be able to dig down and find those resources, find that support team, and persevere through it. And I have no doubt, just because of where I'm at and who I'm with, to know that you all have that within you and your families have that within you, and you can do that and be successful. But be willing to tell stories, shake people's hands, go out of the way. I'm going to share one other thing with you real quick, and I think it's just important for you all to hear as individuals. I know when I come home, I felt different. I know I had a Purple Heart, and I didn't really think about it that much, but I just kind of felt different. And it wasn't because of anything I had done, really. It was just maybe the experience as a whole, right? And before long, I kind of felt bad. And then next thing I know, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my friends, lifelong childhood friends, John, you're a little different. You're a little different. And I was like, well, man, everywhere I go, they're telling me I'm different. I feel different, and I'm angry, and I feel bad. I must be bad. Every time I heard you're a little different, I felt bad. But let me tell you, your difference is good. If you don't feel different, something's wrong. Because what you've experienced is a normal reaction to an abnormal experience. being where you've been, doing what you've done, witnessing and seeing what you've witnessed. And I learned this through a Vietnam veteran a couple years ago. And there's this thing called a moral injury. And anybody that tells me I have PTSD, I tell them I don't have any damn disorder. You've been where I've been, you've done what I've done, you'd be just like me. But there's a intangible, abstract injury, the moral injury. We dealt with a lot of death and women and kids on the battlefield. You know, there's nothing like stuffing a body bag with a little kid just because a suicide bomber come up and wanted to attack your gate.